with that, with no further ado, I'll give you Barry G.
Hi everybody, I'm an addict and my name is Barry.
Hi Barry. What's up, Barry?
Thanks for having me here. Man, I'll tell you what, it's packed in here. I just left the Jersey convention. I'm from Jersey. Our regional convention is happening right here, and I'll put a little plug in. Anybody who isn't doing anything tomorrow, when you leave here, bless you, our convention is going on till Monday noon. Tomorrow we're having a carnival, a scavenger hunt, meetings all day, all night. We got a really good lineup on the programming tomorrow night. If you're not doing anything, come on out, have a good time, and be with us. And like I said, I'm an addict from New Jersey. I live like right outside of Camden. And I came up here because I'm willing to go to any lengths to carry this message. I'm an NA trooper. I attend NA, only NA. I believe in NA. I love NA. My heart is NA. My soul is NA. My spirit is NA. I talk, eat, live, breathe NA. I tried other places, and I never found empathy like I found in Narcotics Anonymous. Now, you might say to yourself, why would somebody want to leave a comfortable, nice convention in New Jersey where their family is, a bunch of guys I sponsor there, my sponsor is there? I'm here because I was asked. That's simple. I was asked. Now, you might say, well, is that really doing more than your fair share? What is our fair share? I mean, really, what is our fair share? What is my fair share as a member of Narcotics Anonymous? What is my fair share of the recovery process? To me, there is no such thing as a fair share. I couldn't give back enough to Narcotics Anonymous. It's real special for me to be here. I celebrated 10 years last Friday. So, Narcotics Anonymous has given me 10 years of freedom. 10 years of freedom from active addiction. 10 years of things that have happened that if somebody would have ever said, Barry, listen, write a list of anything you might ever hope to achieve or accomplish in your stay in Narcotics Anonymous, I would have sold myself short. I would have sold this program short. I would have sold a loving God short. Because when I got here, all I wanted to do was, I wanted to stop using, I wanted to stop hurting, and I wanted to stop getting arrested. Plain and simple. I wasn't looking for anything special here. As a matter of fact, somehow I got everything that I thought I never wanted. I got a wife and 3 babies. I got a mortgage payment. I got a lawn to mow. I got a car to change the oil in. I got responsibility. I got friends. I got people who have faith in me, people who I have faith in, people who believe in me. And I didn't want any of that. I didn't think, okay? And probably the reason I thought I didn't want it was because I never thought it was possible for people like us. I started using drugs in like 1965. I saw people go to jail. Saw people go to institutions. I saw people die. I saw people go to Lexington, Kentucky. I saw people go to Synanon. I saw people go to Second Genesis. I saw them get their heads shaved. I saw them wear signs. I saw them wear diapers. I saw them get humiliated. I saw them start with the petty crimes like shoplifting, the boosters. And I saw it go from, the people start from just ripping off their buddies on the corners to ripping off stores and the burglaries and the armed robberies And I saw people start getting 1 year and 6 months, go to the nickels and flattening out the dimes, and getting the 20s and getting the 30s and the 35s and the like. That's what I saw for people like us. For a lot of years, the only recovery process that was available to us was methadone maintenance. In all the years that I did drugs, I never saw anybody recover from the disease of addiction. Never. So, having never seen, how was I to know that this was possible? I thought I was destined to die a dope fiend. Okay? When I was 18 years old, when I went for my physical for Vietnam, I was already on methadone maintenance. I had already been arrested for heroin and burglary. And nothing changed till I found Narcotics Anonymous. Nothing changed. 12th step, having had a spiritual awakening. And it's really neat how that's written past tense. Okay? It doesn't say when we have a spiritual awakening. It says having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps. We're asked to do 2 simple things. Serve in love. Serve in love. Serve in love. That's what we're asked. And that's not much to ask for what we've been given. You know, the neat thing is, we come in here, my first cry for help, I guess, was my initial first step. God, please help me. I can't do this another day. I can't do another shot of dope. I can't tell another lie. I can't do another crime. I can't do another day in jail. I can't live another day feeling the way I'm feeling. I need help. Help me. That, I believe, is when my spirit started to awaken. Because all the years that I did the things that I was doing, I was trying and doing my best to kill my spirit. And I can remember robbing somebody and having that little voice inside of me, which I believed to be my spirit, saying, Barry, please don't do this. I can remember beating up my wife and my spirit saying, God, please, in this little voice saying, Barry, please don't do this. And I can remember stealing from work in this little voice saying, Barry, this isn't the right thing to do. And I can remember selling my wife's food stamps. And the kids didn't eat for the whole month so I could get 1 stinking shot of dope. And I can remember this little voice saying, Barry, you're nuts. Don't do this. But what happened was my spirit got in my way. And it was like I told my spirit to shut up. Shut up, I got to get high. Shut up, you're interfering with my lifestyle. Shut up. I can't do what I need to do if you keep telling me those kinds of things. My spirit was alive. I just did my best to kill it. And little by little, over the years, as I killed my spirit and I beat it over and over and over again, I guess my spirit surrendered. It just gave up. And in a moment of sanity, God put 4 people in my life from a Narcotics Anonymous H&I subcommittee. And they said, Barry, you don't have to live this way. Barry, we can help you. Barry, listen, you now have identified what the problem is, and guess what? We have the solution. If you are willing, we will help you. And I just looked and I thought, wow, man, how? How can you help me? I've been shooting dope for 20 years. I've lived in 5 states and gone to jail in 4 of them. I've been on methadone maintenance for 14 years. I've lost everything good that ever happened to me. And if you tell me that you're just like me, then how the hell are you going to help me? I mean, I went around the room and tried to disqualify myself from everything good that was happening here. You know, I looked around and I thought, he's a snitcher. I probably spilled more dope than he shot. I would have stuck him up. He probably couldn't cop. He was probably doing G-shots. This guy probably couldn't even hold a cooker without dropping it. You know what I mean? And one by one, I wanted to go around the room and disqualify myself, but the thing that I realized was, you know what, no matter how much drugs anybody was doing, they were doing something that I couldn't, and they were staying clean. And I couldn't stay clean. I couldn't put a day together. I couldn't put a week together. I couldn't put minutes together. I lived to use and used to live. And very simply, I was caught in a grip. I had no way out. I knew of no way out. Nobody ever told me there was a way out. And you know what? When these people told me from H&I that there was a way out, it was like, man, I'll try anything. Okay? And I didn't believe that this could work. But I had nothing to lose. I believe that the only people who believe Narcotics Anonymous will work are the people who have nothing else to believe in. Because if I believed that anything else would have worked for me, why the hell would I show up here? Why would I come into a church basement with a bunch of losers, with a bunch of thieves, with a bunch of liars, with a bunch of con artists, with a bunch of losers by society standards? Why? Why would I listen? I mean, nothing made sense. But I wanted to believe in something. I wanted to believe that there was a way out of the hell that I had lived in all my life. I wanted to believe. And when I asked, in that moment of sanity, for some help, I asked very conditionally. And see, that's how awesome God's grace is. All my life, I put conditions on everything. I liked my clothes till new ones came out. I liked my car till a prettier one showed up. I liked my girlfriend till one with bigger breasts walked around the corner. I liked my wife till her girlfriend came around when she wasn't home. That's the way I live, okay? I liked my job till I found out how much money you were making. I liked my father till I found out what your father was doing for you. Very conditional. And when I came to NA, it was that same condition. I remember laying in this treatment center and I said, God, if you can help me to find this way of life that these people are talking about, I'll do anything. God's grace was so overwhelming that he said, you know what, I'm going to do that for you. And you can be conditional. And you can be conditional until you get into these steps. Become honest, become open, become willing, till you get some humility, till you learn what acceptance is. And as you go on further with these steps, little by little, the conditions are going to disappear. And I stayed long enough for the miracle to happen. Little by little, the conditions started to disappear. Okay? And by the time we get to the 12th step, the love that has been given to us, we are able to give to the next guy. And that's how and why Narcotics Anonymous works. That's how and why a bunch of losers, a bunch of thieves, a bunch of liars, a bunch of con artists can do for me and for each other what no high-priced psychiatrist, no top-of-the-line attorney, no judge, no psychologist, no psychiatrist has ever been able to do for any of us. It's a word called empathy. The therapeutic value of one addict helping another. My spirit, in a moment of sanity, was awoken. Awakened, whatever. I'm not an English major. Thank you. But the miracle happened, okay? And then, in step two is about gathering evidence, okay? We came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore sanity. Now, what that's about, it's about believing that this can work for us. And you know what? When I came here and I saw people who looked just like me, who dressed just like me, who talked about milligrams, how many milligrams they were on, how many spoons they were shooting, how many bags were in a bundle, what corner had what a collar was, what a murine dropper was, what a cooker was. I knew I was in the right place. When I came to Narcotics Anonymous, I had to learn what was happening here. Just like when I started using, I had to learn what was happening there. And I can remember I was smoking pot, and I was seeing the guys that were a little older, a little bit slicker, and they were sitting on the stoop, and they were scratching their nose and scratching their balls and talking all this shit. But you know what? It really looked attractive to me. Really looked attractive. I wanted what they had. And I did my best to go out and have some. And I did it real good. And then when I got clean, when I cleaned up, I had to do that in here. I had to ask for help. I had to say, can you help me? Can you show me? I had to get a sponsor. I had to get a home group. I had to learn how to participate the same way I did when I was actively using. And I did that. And I came and I asked, and I got into the steps. And I've never been without a sponsor since I've been clean. I've never not used a sponsor since I've been clean. Step 12 talks about giving it away. And it says in our literature, we must use what we have or we'll lose it. It says we must give it away to keep it. I mean, it says must. There is no way around that one. You can get out all the dictionaries in the world. You can look for all the loopholes. Hold all the reservations you want. But there is no way out. It says we must. And then, of course, you're going to have the guy that says there are no musts in AA. Well, guess what, asshole? When you get 10 years, come and tell me that. Because I don't believe you'll stay here if you don't. And if I say that with some sort of authority, I believe that's because it comes from one ultimate authority. God expressing himself through our literature. And if I say this with enthusiasm, it's because this miracle has happened to me. I can speak personally. I can share my experience. I can tell you that it has happened for me. And this is my story. This is my experience. This is how it works for me. And you know what? I'm no different than anybody else in here. Because nobody rolls in here believing that this can work. And when we come, we have to come to believe. I ain't going to believe sitting home on my couch. I'm not going to believe laying home with my wife or in a motel with a newcomer. The way I come to believe is by showing up, becoming a part of. Okay? And when I see it happening for you, I'm going to believe that it can happen for me. And then you know what? As I gather enough evidence, and the evidence becomes overwhelming after a while. I see somebody walk in who looks like death and they get 30 days. I see somebody walk in who's on methadone, come long enough, detox, on methadone in the rooms and pick up a 30-day keychain. I see somebody come in 5 days out of the penitentiary who doesn't know shit from Shinola and ask for help. I see somebody come in who says, you know what? I've lost my family. I have no job. I'm unemployable. I'm a derelict. I'm living in a shelter. And I see him 2 years later speaking at a convention. I mean, come on. If you don't believe this works, open your eyes. Look around. Look at your life. Look at where you've come from. Look at where you're going. Look at the person next to you. Look at the person behind you. This is happening, man. NA is the shit. NA is the ultimate shot of dope. And all it costs is a desire. And it used to be an honest desire, but it isn't even that. It's a desire, and that desire could be this big. Just come. Come. And then come to. And then come to believe. And then look at the evidence. And then commit in the third step. Commit to this way of life. To the NA way of life. It talks about in the 12th step. These steps. Carrying this message. What is this message? This message is that any addict can stop using drugs. It says any addict can stop using drugs, lose the desire to use, and find a new way to live. You know what? One of the promises in our text, it says we have never seen an addict relapse who is living this way of life. One more time. We have never, okay, never, strong word, never seen an addict relapse who is living this way of life. I remember after going to a treatment center and somebody spending thousands of dollars to educate me, going to this other fellowship and hearing them say, rarely have we seen, okay, and talking about people being constitutionally incapable. Well, you know what? That was me, because I believed that I was different from them, and when I came to NA, you know what? I got no out, because it says we have never. If you're willing to do this, you will receive this. It's a promise. That is the promise of freedom. If we live this way of life, we will recover in Narcotics Anonymous. I believe it. Every day for 10 years, I've bet my ass on Narcotics Anonymous, and I haven't been let down yet. Every day I bet my ass. 12th step. It doesn't say, once we reach this step, we become powerful and we can manage. Okay? It doesn't say that. It doesn't say, having done the first 11 steps, we can assume control one more time. At least it doesn't say that in my book. But then again, I'm reading the 3rd edition. I believe, I would bet that the 5th edition is the same. Okay, thank you. And it doesn't say that we do become recovered. It says we're involved in an ongoing process. And that this process has no finish line. And this process has no superstars. And nobody has a lock on the recovery process. What comes with a spiritual awakening? The ability to smile? Damn right. The ability to love somebody else? The ability to do something for somebody else? I mean, come on, look at us. We're egotistical, self-centered mismanagers. We're incapable of making good decisions on a consistent basis. Okay? We're negative people. We're self-destructive people. Why in the world, how in the world would we become willing to do something for somebody else? A miracle. A miracle. You know what? I remember the first time somebody took me to the diner after a meeting, and they said, "What do you want to eat, Bar?" And I said, "A Coke." They said, "Oh, come on, get something, man." I said, "All right, order fries." The guy ordered for me. He ordered a cheeseburger deluxe with fries and coleslaw. I didn't think I was worthy of that. Okay, that's why I said a Coke. I didn't think I deserved a burger. I didn't think I was worthy of anything from anybody. And he did this, and I says, well, thanks, man. What do I owe you? He goes, "You got to do this for somebody else. Do this for the next guy. Do this for the guy that hasn't walked in the door yet. Be there for another addict." When somebody picked me up and took me to a meeting and went a half an hour up and a half an hour back out of their way, and I knew that it was 1 hour less sleep that they were getting, I couldn't understand why somebody would do that for me. I wasn't worth it. I am worth it. We are worth it. We are children of God. God loves us all. Okay? God wants only the best for us. God wants us to be happy, joyous, and free. That is God's will for us. Love and serve. In order to serve God, we have to know God on our own personal level. In order to serve God, we have to love God. We have to believe in God. We have to believe that this way of life works. I will go anywhere. I will do anything for Narcotics Anonymous. Like I said before, I am an NA trooper. You know, the original deal that I made with this God was, I said, "God, if you can help me to find this new way of life that these people are talking about, I will do anything, anything, anything for you." God has shown me this new way of life. That is why I'm here tonight, because I will do anything for the NA God of our understanding. I will do anything. I've gone to Nebraska, driven 22 and a half hours to share the meeting because I was asked. I've driven to Florida to speak because I was asked. All up and down the East Coast because I was asked. I can't do enough for Narcotics Anonymous. You see, Narcotics Anonymous is like a chain link fence. We're only as strong as the links. And together, the links become stronger. And the more links we have, the stronger the chain becomes. And we can do for each other what nobody else has ever been able to do for any of us. The miracle, the promise. We're asked to do two simple things. Practice these principles and carry this message. Okay? And the message is, I'm 10 years clean. The message is, I have a life beyond my wildest dreams. The message is, I was a hopeless, helpless, desperate dope fiend that came from the gutter, that didn't know what was up, what was down, or what was in between. And I have a life that's based in hope. It's based in love. It's based in other people. I mean, I hated people when I got here. I hated people. You know why? Because I hated myself. You know what? I was the kind of guy in the 60s that could go and sit somewhere and tell people how to end the Vietnam War, but had no inner peace. I could tell people how to feed the world, but I couldn't make a sandwich. I could tell people how to live and enjoy life, but had no clue. I didn't have a clue about living till I found Narcotics Anonymous. And for that, I am and hope to always be eternally grateful. If you are new in here, how many people in here are under a year clean? Okay. I'll tell you what. I'll give everybody in here under a year clean my phone number. You call me up when you get a year. You come down and I'll buy you dinner. Okay? And then when you get 10 years clean, you buy me dinner. Okay, fair enough? Anybody in here who's under a year clean, if you don't believe Narcotics Anonymous works, believe that we believe. Anybody in here who doesn't believe Narcotics Anonymous works, look around. If this didn't work, we wouldn't be here. I wouldn't want to imagine where we would be. But we sure as hell wouldn't be here. I mean, and the deal is, we all have no place else to go. This is the only game in town for people like us. You know, this is the only place that we can go where we don't have to lie about who and what we are. That's why I come here. I lived and lied about the way I lived and who and what I was my whole life. I am not in denial about what I am. As a matter of fact, when I looked at the first step of our program and I saw the word powerless and I saw the word unmanageable, I knew right away I was in the right place. I mean, I'm not a rocket scientist, but I don't think you have to be real smart to figure out, yeah, man, my life sucked. You know what? Spiritual awakening gives us the ability to laugh at ourselves. My spirit is alive. My spirit is well. My spirit is nurtured every time I get around another addict. Because anytime there's 2 or more addicts, God is in the cooker that never ran out of dope. That was my fantasy. That was my fantasy. Today, being based in reality, having a first step, believing in the restoration process, being committed to this way of life, having done a series of inventories, having shared those inventories, having become willing to have these defects removed, having become humble enough, asking for these defects to be removed, having written a list, having made amends, doing a daily inventory, seeking knowledge of God's will for me, and living this way, my life is all right. I'm not going to lie to you and say I live some superfly existence, because I don't. I get up every day and I go to work, and I hate it. I'd rather still be in a meeting shooting the shit with a few other addicts. I'd rather be hanging in a pool room with a few other addicts, clean. I'd rather be sitting home on my couch watching a movie. But you know what? I got people who depend on me. I got 3 kids that get hungry. I got a wife that cracks the whip. She's another must. I must go to work. If you want to remain married, you must keep me in the lifestyle that I'm accustomed to. And you know what's neat? And I'll end it with this. I've never really, until the last few years, enjoyed my life. Even, like 5 years, 6 years clean, I really didn't, I went through the motions, I came, I had hope, and little by little, things started to get better in my life. I started to get better. I started to internalize these steps. And like great changes took place in my personality, and I believe it was a loving God working in my life. And today, like when I'm on my way home from work, I'm excited to get home and see my wife. And that blows me away. I'm excited to go home and see my kids. And that like boggles my brain. I'm excited when I pull up onto my street and I see my house. I'm excited. I say, wow, I can't believe I live here. When my phone rings at night and it's guys I sponsor, I'm excited to be in the recovery process. I'm excited that they call me. Because nobody ever wanted anything to do with me. I was always the kid who my friends' parents would say, man, don't hang out with him, he's trouble. He's bad news. Do you know what I mean? I was always a loser. I was always an asshole. I was always a wise guy that had all the answers and was totally clueless. And you know what? I don't know a whole lot today, but I know how to get a day clean. And if I don't know, if I have to forget everything else in life, please don't let me forget how to get a day clean. And I can help somebody else get a day clean. I can share my experience. I can share my strength. And I can share my hopes. And thank you for having me. I love you, man. And I hope I see you again.